Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Have a bit of a random review for you today. So I was looking for the DX, I think it's Wolf Kaiser or whatever the mecha for Wolzard is. Basically the DX version of this. I've been trying to track one down since we never got one here in America. We got that white unicorn or whatever instead, whatever. So I've been trying to find a DX Wolf Kaiser, and I came across this on Mandarake instead. They didn't have what I was looking for, but they had this. It was $3. I didn't really know what it was, but it looked kind of neat, so I thought, whatever, I'll give it a shot. I thought it was going to be much smaller, being only $3, but apparently this is the Bandai Handy series. I don't know, maybe because they're tiny, kids can play with them quick with their hands. I don't know why it's called that, but in any case, this is the Handy Series 03 Wolzard and Barikion set from Mahou Sentai Magiranger. I don't know. I'm assuming that Barikion is the name of the horse in Japan. Obviously, I think it was called Catastros over here. But yeah, so unfortunately, I don't think this transforms into the robot. I think it just does the horse and centaur modes. But even still, for a couple bucks, I thought it looked kind of neat. You can see you can take the horse head out, you can put him in, and then he can use the horse head weapon. So I think that's pretty cool. Now, unfortunately, it shows him with his shield. I don't think he has a shield. So I have no idea what kind of articulation this thing is going to have, but I had a couple requests to review this when I showed it off in my live stream of the unboxing of all the stuff I got from Mandarake. So I was like, you know what? Why not? Shouldn't take too long to review, and I'm kind of interested about it myself. So gonna go ahead, get this thing open, and we'll take a closer look. So here is the set out of the packaging. It's all right. Taking a look at the little Wolzard / Korag figure. He looks okay. I mean, he's actually painted pretty nicely for how tiny of a figure he is. You can see he's pretty hollow on the back. The arms are kind of hollow. Legs and everything. Back of the head's a little hollow. The only articulation he has is the arms. They spin around, that's it. Head doesn't move. Legs don't move at all. And again, it would have been neat if he came with a little sword and shield, but I get it. Not a big problem. So he's okay. But like I said, he's painted very nicely. I mean, the helmet looks good. You can tell there's something a little off with the chest, but you have the nice W painted there in gold. The silver for the shoulder pads looks nice. The purple goes all the way around, even though it's hollow. So he's decently painted. He's a little weirdly proportioned, but I will say that paint is definitely one place that this set does not suffer. So here is the horse, whose name escapes me at the moment. Let me take a look. I'm just going to call him Catastros, but it's Barikion, so I'll probably not say that again. In any case, it looks good. You can kind of see like where the boots... I really wish it transformed. If this thing actually transformed into the robot mode, I would pay, 10, 15, 20 bucks for it. It would be really neat. Obviously, there'd be a lot more engineering that would go into it. This thing is very much a solid hunk of plastic. It's got wheels on the feet. So he rolls. And then again, very nicely painted. You have all the gold and silver paint throughout. The eyes are painted green on the horse, which actually looks pretty cool. None of this moves. It's all one solid piece. The only thing that does move, this whole head thing comes out. And basically how that works is this little piece right here, it's just kind of a friction connection in between these two pieces of plastic right there. So you take that out, and then you just take this all apart. You pop the head off. You pop the mane off. And then you just put it together, kind of like you do with the DX toy. That pops on there, and that pegs in there. So that gives you the spear. And then you just take Wolzard, and you just push him in. And he kind of just wedges in. You can hear the plastic. But, I mean, he wedges in well. He's not coming out anytime soon. But he doesn't click into place or anything. And that's it. I feel like it's a little out of proportion. I feel like I wish he was a little bigger in respect to this, but it's not bad. And then you just take this giant thing, and you can see that there's a little peg right here, and that just pegs into his hand. And yeah, that's it. Now, what I really wanted, I thought it would look better if he held it from underneath, but even though I feel like the peg hole should be the same size, maybe it's too heavy. It does not even try to stay in. I can try the other hand. No. So it only works on top. and really only apparently in the right hand. But it works in the right hand great. So it's just a little awkward way for him to hold it. You know, I kind of wish, even if it was like a, you know, peg one end into this and one end to this, just so he could hold it like he normally would. I don't expect it to actually fit in his hand, but I would have been totally fine with something like Soto does, where you peg one end into each side. I think that would have totally worked. But yeah, so it is what it is. It's not great. It's not terrible. I'm glad I only paid $3 for it. Let's put it like that. If I had paid like 15, 20 bucks or something like this, I think I would feel really cheated. I would feel kind of stupid. I was looking around trying to see, you know, what I could find about these. And I actually found an old HLJ listing for one of these. I think the Dragon. There's a Dragon one. And I think retail, these things were like less than 10 bucks. I think it was like $7.50 or something like that. So I feel like that's perfectly fine. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what this would be worth. And I mean, that's what these are supposed to be. These are supposed to be cheap little toys, you know, for like almost like something you'd see at the dollar store, but obviously a little bit more intricate. Just something to give a kid cheap so that they can have some imaginative play, but at the end of the day, it doesn't do a whole lot. I mean, we've seen toys like this before. You know, just cheapy versions of, you know, people who don't want to spring for the DX, and I get that, because those things can be pricey. So, is it like maybe like a little goofy thing to have on your desk to pick up and fiddle with from time to time? I mean, otherwise, I don't really see much value in this. It is what it is. I mean, it's a cheap little toy, you know, just to have fun and recreate the Centaur mode. Like I said, if they did a small down version and it actually transformed, I would be much more apt to pay, you know, 20 something in that area for this. And again, I don't think these ever were supposed to be 20. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just trying to say I would be very interested in a tiny scaled down little transforming Woolkaiser. Is basically what I'm trying to say. Even just to give him a little sword and shield, even if they weren't painted, just to give him a little sword and shield, I think would have added value to the set. That would have been cheap enough, I feel like, but they didn't. Not a big deal, just something I think would have been cool. So yeah, I think it's okay. It also would have been neat if he could have ridden the horse. I feel like, especially since this is a hunk of plastic anyway, they could have made this thinner, because I feel like it's almost like it's trying to do that. Or if they had some way that you could extend the legs out to just make them a little wider. Because I think if he could ride the horse in this mode, all they would have really had to do is just make this piece thinner. And then that way you could just literally slide him on top. You wouldn't, that way his legs wouldn't have to move at all, and you could just, boom. And there's no reason they can't, because this is just a hunk of plastic. So they could have just beveled this out thinner. Maybe it was going to be too brittle. It was probably one of those deals where they were afraid this piece would get too brittle, wouldn't fit in between his legs, or they didn't want to make his legs wider because then this would break. Even if they, because it almost looks like there's hinges here. If they could have just made it so that these could just hinge out a little bit, even if he just sat on it bow-legged, I felt like that would have been fine. But yeah, I don't know. So the Centaur mode's decent. The little figure and the horse on its own are okay. Little improvements I would make it so he can actually ride the horse in horse mode, and give him a little cheap sword and shield. But overall, if you can find this thing for a couple bucks and you just think it'll look neat on display or on your desk or something, go for it. Otherwise, you can probably skip it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.